Good evening. This is a work session for the Molalla City Council for Wednesday, August 12th, 2026. We'll begin with roll call, begin with Councilor Gilmer.
Councilor Gilmer present.
Councilor Schenkel present.
Councilor Childress present.
Mayor Kaiser present.
Council President Vermillion present.
Councilor Bartholomew present.
Dan Huff, City Manager, present.
City Recorder Christy Teets present.
Engineering Section Manager Sam Miller present.
Ryan Retzloff, Keller Associates, present.
Seth Kelly, Water Quality Superintendent, present.
Dwayne Cleaver, Owners Rep, present.
Please note that if a councilor wishes to discuss a major policy issue that is not on the agenda, it should be raised during new business for consideration at a future work session or meeting, not during the current meeting. Decisions cannot be voted on during work sessions. Tonight we'll be discussing Stormwater Master Plan Draft Review and Discussion. Mr. Huff, it's all yours.
I am going to turn this over to Mr. Miller
Alrighty,
to give you the intro.
sounds good. Good evening, City Council and Mayor. We are bringing you tonight, the Stormwater Master Plan Final Draft Review. And for just kind of get the background on this, city staff and engineering consultant Keller Associates are here to present the final draft Stormwater Master Plan for one last round of council feedback before it's forward to Planning Commission on September 2nd, 2026. Then back to recommended adoption by City Council on September 23rd, 2026. Molalla last comprehensive storm master plan update was completed in 2003. Industrial best practices recommendations that infrastructure master plans utilize a 20-year plan horizon and be updated every 10 years to ensure they continue to reflect current infrastructure conditions, regulations, requirements, and community growth. The current stormwater master plan no longer reflects current development patterns, infrastructure conditions, regulations, expectations, or the city long-term stormwater management needs. City staff have completed a thorough review of the draft storm master plan and believe it accurately identify the city's major stormwater challenges while prioritizing project based on system needs, risk, and long-term community benefits. As discussed earlier or mentioned earlier, Keller Associates, Ryan with Keller Associates is here to present a presentation for you guys as well. And we can kind of go from there.
All right. Good evening, council members and mayor. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you today and give you an introduction to the master plan. I don't know how you typically like to do these work sessions. I'd prefer to keep it a little more informal if we can, and so if there's a question, feel free to raise your hand or just shout it out and we can address it at that time. If not, I'm happy to take questions at the end. So we're going to talk about the plan, why we need it, the overall planning process, talk a little bit about the Public Works design standards, how we evaluated the system, how we identified and where the problem areas are, and then talk a bit about the capital improvement plan, which has 4 major elements: staffing, maintenance, programs, and capital improvement projects. And then we'll summarize the plan at the end. So the city's growing in many ways, private development, and that puts pressure on city assets, current and future. So understanding what those assets are and where they might need to be is important. Planning for the future and where those assets need to go, and how to manage the existing, and then funding and there's where those assets the potential for an increase in regulatory requirements, and that has shifted since we how to manage initiated this plan, where the DEQ had a threshold of about 10,000 of population before it would start a NPDES MS4 permit. And they've been trying to figure out how to do that, how to make that happen, and recently have switched to where that's going to be more along the lines of 50,000 in population. So that puts Molalla well outside of that threshold for quite some time. So the only regulatory requirements that will be active for stormwater will be the TMDL, which is a total maximum daily load, which is assessed on receiving water bodies. Go ahead. This slide goes over the overall planning process. It's quite high level, but basically we start with an evaluation of the criteria, data gathering, GIS development, and in this case, we did pause the plan for a little bit midstream to do a pretty substantial survey to gather more data where we had some gaps in the data. Once we have that, that creates the foundation for the development of a hydrologic and hydraulic model to evaluate the system and determine where there are shortcomings, where there's pipes are too small or not existent at all. From there, we use that to identify deficiencies in the system and compare that to what the previous plan had identified, what city staff have observed, or what any of the citizens have reported to the city. So we take a multi-pronged approach to identifying where those problems are. We then work with the city to identify potential improvements, projects. That gets folded into a CIP, which includes programs and policies and staffing, and then finally wrapping that all into a document. As part of that process, we did review the Public Works design standards and city code, and this was the intent of this was to identify where there are some changes, edits, updates that are needed to make sure that the design standards in the city code are aligned. For stormwater, yeah, I didn't do the whole book of design standards. What we found was that the design standards for stormwater are pretty outdated. They're quite old, and so there's some pretty substantial changes that we recommended. City code, not so much, just some minor edits to get it to align and point to the design standards. The areas of focus are downstream system evaluation and the requirement to do that, water quantity and quality, which is really the heart and soul of managing your stormwater as the city continues to grow and meet the requirements that you have. So there are triggers, level of service, design of facilities that all kind of need to be revamped and updated. There's been a lot of learning that's occurred over the last 20 years, and so that needs to be managed. And then culvert design is something that I identified as maybe something that could be pushed on to or referenced an ODOT standard rather than trying to continue to maintain your own standards and keep that updated. That way it's less work to keep it current. And then the floodplain management is pretty unusual for a city to have that in their design standards, as usually they're not the floodplain manager, it's usually the county or another entity. And so recommendation is just to remove that from your design standards and reference the counties as the floodplain manager.
When these changes are made, do they come to council or do they just happen internally?
So we made both edits in the code and provided those to city staff. We also made just comments within a Word document. We were not asked to actually formally update the code for adoption, merely to recommend where we see changes that should be made.
That will come later after the plan's adopted.
Yeah, these are just recommendations as for now. And then if we decide that these recommendations need to be implemented into our standards, or we would like to have those codes changed, we will definitely bring that to council for
Yeah.
adoption.
Perfect. Thank you.
So in the two previous slides, there was a box there about system evaluation and the model development. This just goes into a little bit more detail about what's included in that. So the GIS and other data sources, the previous model included as-built, site visits, city knowledge is all in that first box where we really just try and do a data dump and understand exactly what infrastructure is out there. The hydraulic model is what we use to determine how much water runs off of the surface. So, a forested piece of land is going to have much less water run off of it than a parking lot. And so all of these bulleted items are part of the parameters that go into developing that model. The hydraulic model, the third box there, is a representation of the infrastructure that is primarily under the ground but does include open channels, some ditches, some storage facilities. And what we do to make sure this closely represents reality is we put in flow meters and leave them in there for several months, collect flow data, and then we take that same rainfall that we collected in those flow meters, put that rainfall through our model and compare it to what we're seeing in the model. So we have a way of calibrating the model, making modifications to it to make sure that it closely represents what we're seeing or what's happening in real life. Then finally, we have an outfall. So rivers, streams, wetlands, ditches, the city discharges primarily to two systems, Bear Creek and Creamery Creek. Creamery Creek is sort of integrated into the stormwater collection system, where Bear Creek is a little bit more of a end of pipe receiving water body. The problem areas that we identified are primarily conveyance. So mostly the pipes are undersized, the infrastructure is too small. But there's old infrastructure, there's areas that don't have enough inlets or pipes to convey the water, and so water just kind of piles up. There's limited flow control and water quality where development occurred prior to those regulations being required. And other challenges are just a blessing and a curse with growth, and then the limited resources that are allocated to managing stormwater in the city. This picture, you can kind of see an example of that, where you've got a pipe that's exposed, that shouldn't be, that's rusted out, and so it's not, whatever it was intended to do, it's no longer achievable.
Is that actually Molalla?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's part of the upper portion of Creamery Creek.
Wow.
And I guess just as another side note, I do have slides that show all the problem areas that we identified. It's getting into the weeds a little bit, so I didn't include it in the presentation, but I do have them included here if anybody wants to get into the details. So the capital improvement plan has 4 major elements: capital projects, programs that are recommended. We did a staffing analysis, and then recommendations for maintenance. There's actually 12 projects. One was added right at the end, and I kind of forgot about it when I was putting this slide together, and was graciously reminded about it just the other day. So I just wanted to make sure that was called out there.
Hey Sam, question on the sweeping part. I know our vac truck's set up for probably the sweeping. Is it set up for the CCTV?
I don't believe
No.
so.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
sorry. I should ask you, Seth. I forgot.
No, that's perfectly fine, Mayor. Yeah, no, it is not. We currently contract that work out when we get CCTVing done.
Okay.
And then we have a sweeper truck that does the sweeping.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was sweeping the pipe, the front
Oh,
of the
yeah.
hose reel on the vac truck.
Yeah. That would be jetting.
Jetting,
And the
that's
Vector
it.
truck does do that.
Jetting.
But we have a sweeper truck that does the sweeping.
Right. Thank you.
So the program recommendations are best practice and are basically part of an NPDS MS4 permit and are best practice for maintaining and operating a stormwater collection and conveyance system. The staffing is based on primarily maintenance and managing these programs, but we didn't get into staffing to augment current staff for just engineering, in addition to managing the 12 projects over the next 20 years. That's a little bit of a slippery slope to try and figure out exactly what that looks like, so we didn't investigate that very closely. Go to the next slide. This map's a little hard to see unless you get up there close, but I want to highlight just a couple of them. Creamery Creek in red. There's 2 sections of it that run diagonal to the city blocks that run underneath structures. And I think in the first meeting I had with city staff, that was identified as sort of critical to mitigate that, change it so that if those pipes do fail, you don't have a cave-in underneath the building. There's 4 projects that are culverts. There's 3 on Bear Creek and then 1 on Creamery Creek. One of them is being addressed by the county, not the city, but it's included here for completeness.
Which project was that?
That it's going to be the South Molalla Avenue culvert across Bear Creek there.
Right.
And just for Clarence, because we didn't list that other Project 12 on there, but that Project 12 is the Bolander Clark Park stormwater issue that we have with water running onto private property. So that's going to be, it's actually in the draft final report, just not listed on the presentation, just for clarity.
So the 5 programs identify manhole catch basin cleaning on a 3-year cycle, and CCTV and pipe cleaning, and I think that's what was discussed previously. The the manhole and catch basin cleaning is really the best way to capture whatever gets into the conveyance system to allow it to not get into the receiving water bodies and pollute them with whatever it gets in there. The CCTV and pipe cleaning is really just best practice. Molalla is relatively flat, and so the pipes are relatively flat. So the velocities are relatively low, which means that that sediment has a chance to settle out and plug pipes or partially block them. CCTV is the best way and the most inexpensive way to take account of what your assets are, what condition they're in, where you have some potential failures, and where you need to focus your energies on pipe rehab, replacement, what have you. The street sweeping, which the city is already doing, and doing a pretty good job from what I understand, is your first line of defense in collecting the pollutants before they get into your system. And then the facility maintenance includes water quality facilities and detention facilities, and these need to be evaluated about once a year, twice a year for overgrowth, systems that aren't working properly. Just like you would anything else, you need to put eyes on it and inspect what's happening. The engineering team is working on a private facility maintenance agreement. I don't know if that's been fully rolled out yet or not, but there are a lot of private facilities, and one of the things that most agencies struggle with is how do we get people to actually manage those and keep them maintained. So city's making good steps there to do that. And then the repair and the replacement program, the last one, it's a big one. It assumes that all of your infrastructure is going to fail in one way or another every 100 years. So everything needs to be replaced every 100 years, and it's a round number. If you have metal pipe like shown in this picture, it's probably not going to last 100 years. If you use PVC or HDPE or some other plastic, it may last much longer than 100 years. But this is a way for us to say, here's kind of what you need to be funding to keep up with the deterioration of your system. The staffing and maintenance is, so we just talked about a whole bunch of programs, a whole bunch of work, people to run equipment, and so there's an increase in staffing that needs to occur in order, as those programs get implemented, more staff would be needed. Engineering staff to oversee what's happening there, manage the programs, and then just increase the regular maintenance, which is spelled out in the report, but that includes the collection system, the conveyance, the treatment, outfalls, open channels, and culverts. And in a lot of cases, those are currently being checked on when there's a problem, but if there's not a problem, not much is done. And I like to use the car analogy. If you do that with your car, it works for a little while, but eventually it doesn't. And so, regular maintenance on any asset is important. So we've included that as our recommendation. So in summary, the 20-year horizon for this master plan, which is the planning horizon, the cost estimates are based on 2025 numbers. The CIP projects, if you sum those, divide them over 20 years, it's about just over $800,000 per year for those projects. The programs, including the R&R, which is the replacement and repair, is just under 1.5 million per year. And then staffing, there's an assumption, one staff member is about 200,000 when you consider all of their benefits and everything. So your annual stormwater budget, in addition to what you're currently funding, is that big number up there. And what I will say is that there's no expectation that this is done overnight. This is a sliding scale where these programs may not ever be implemented until you have to, which is, I would say, more the norm for cities this size, at least from my experience. But it is a goal and something to shoot for, and you know, I know both Sam and Seth understand that, and you know, there are constraints, of course. So yeah, appreciate your time. If you have questions, happy to take them.
Question for you, Mr. Huff. Where is the city at with a budget like this, as far as implementation and?
Where are we at with finding all that money to do all those projects every year for the next 20 years? We're not there. And it's just like anything else with, whether it's a stormwater master plan or it's a transportation master plan or anything. I mean, it takes us a long time to do that. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that we're focused on it. I mean, you know, one way to do that is to change, you know, the stormwater utility monthly payment for individuals in this town, raise it like 300%. It's probably not going to happen. We've had a very low stormwater utility for years, and there's barely enough funding in there to kind of keep us afloat. So we're very careful with that. On the other hand, this project here, or this master plan, because our master plan was so old, we probably were not applying appropriate levels of system development charges to new development. Okay? So this gives us a tool to increase how we work with developers when they come into town. So we can work that way. But on the other hand, we do what we can.
Right.
I mean, he just said that, you know,
Right.
This is a big chunk
Right.
for us to take a bite of, and we just need to do our best. And I think the other thing about the stormwater master plan that's good for those folks, those two individuals sitting across from me over here, is if you're using a plan, when was the other plan drafted? I can't remember what the date was. When?
Your last plan was from 2003.
So we're working off a storm drainage master plan from 2003. That's not good information anymore. The city's what, 4 times the size today as it was then? So that gets us up to date. We can change our standards like they've talked about, and then we can work on funding and the various options that are in front of us. But it's not gonna happen tomorrow.
Right.
It's interesting, I'll add that some of these projects are more important than others, and the
Yep.
one that he's mentioned about Creamery Creek is especially a high-profile one, because it was actually kind of surprising in going through the surveys that we did do to find out where the line runs, how big it is, how it's connected. A lot of it was unknown. And there are sections of Creamery Creek that run through CMP culverts that are quite large and go underneath houses and even go underneath the post office and some key buildings. And the CMP does have a certain life expectancy. We were actually surprised at how good a shape it seemed to still be, but CMP doesn't last forever. And so that'll be probably one of the higher projects you'll want to be starting in on, just to get that out into the street, like he showed the dog legs where we're replacing those alignments, and get it out from underneath the buildings, and then backfill the sections that are underneath buildings with a material that will not allow that pipe to collapse. Interesting findings.
What is CMP?
Oh, corrugated metal pipe,
Oh,
just like you see on those pictures there.
Yeah, those,
right,
Yeah.
okay.
those pictures are corrugated metal pipe.
I've had the privilege for the last year and a half of working with another storm agency out toward Washington County, and I'm very thankful that we're not represented by them, and thankful that we treat our customers a lot better than they do. Year and a half for a 4-house subdivision, trying to deal with their compliance and their standards that seem to change daily. So,
I've worked with the unsaid agency
you know the pain.
for many years, so I understand.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll throw in there that, as Ryan said, there was a pause for data collection. And as Mr. Huff said, that a lot of the city that resides within city limits today was not the same as what it was in 2003. And that was a lot of that just getting the data collection for what is new in the city. And having this tool for growth going forward will help us so that any new development, we can actually get those data points on the front end, as well as make sure that it's all developed in a way that is benefiting the city going forward.
Yeah, the other thing that's, I think, when I first came to Molalla, none of our master plans had been updated. We did not know where our water and sewer and storm lines were located. They were in somebody's head mostly. So we've gone past that, and I think this is the last utility master plan that we need to accomplish, and it's done. I mean, you have to go back and update the ones we did the first time, but this is a good thing for us. So at least when we're reviewing our developments or somebody else's developments, we're gonna have accurate information, to apply.
Well, and knowing the projects that are out there, when the developers show up, I know we have ways of working with them too.
All right, and then just be prepared. We will be back in front of you with a SDC methodology update. So keep that in mind.
Could that be next
Now that we have a
January?
plan. What?
Next January.
No.
Could it be next January?
I think it'll be before that. Your one last
She and
hurrah,
I won't be
Terry.
here next January, that was the
That's our last bid for last year.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So, until the end of the year, please direct all complaints to the two cities. They'll handle it until next end of the year.
That's fine.
See what you got us into?
Yeah. My big
Any
mouth.
other questions, comments?
What permit does the city operate under right now? Is it a 1200Z or a 1200A?
I'm not sure I know.
Actually, under a TDML permit,
It's a
actually,
TDML.
with the DQ.
Total daily maximum load. So there's some items in there that it references for us to be able to work on and or meet, and it's more a matrix model than it is like the NPDS permit as a certain criteria that you have to meet. So the MS4 permit would be much more like an NPDS permit, like you're used to seeing with the wastewater facility.
Right.
The TMDL is more of a matrix model where it's best practices, goals, and then education, outreach, so on and so forth.
I didn't see anything in here for monitoring. Is there a monitoring process that you guys gotta do because you're dumping into a river that has fish in it, so I'm wondering if you're monitoring, temperature, sediment, all that fun stuff that you have to.
I'll let you take that one.
Okay, yeah. There is no monitoring requirement for TMDL. TMDL is, it's section 303D of the Clean Water Act. That's actually, a waterway gets classified on 303D. A TMDL is the implementation arm of that listing.
Okay.
So the Willamette River, I think you're under temperature, bacteria, and mercury. So then DEQ establishes best practices for how to mitigate those. So street sweeping is a key indicator for mercury removal from all the stuff that comes off of our cars. All the other pieces there, you know, cleaning out your catch basins and your pipes, getting the fines and that sediment out is the best thing that can be done for that. There's other things for temperature, like planting trees, shading the streams, open ditches. So it's implementing those best practices. So the city has a TMDL implementation plan that, like Seth said, is a matrix of we're going to do these things in the next year, and then there's a list, and then what are we doing? How are we achieving those?
Right.
And so there's not a benchmark that you need to meet, like you have to plant, 100 trees. You might say that, but it's more, let's plant trees along here, or let's make sure that we have bags for dog waste so that people can pick it up and not have that bacteria going into the system.
In tracking and reporting our maintenance, so how many catch basins do we clean each year? We track that, and then we're able to report that in our TMDL. So,
Any other questions, comments? All right. Well, thank you for coming in, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate all the info and
Yeah.
see when we can
You're
get this.
letting me off easy.
Thank you. All right. Anything else for this work session? All right, I will adjourn at 5:36. gavel. Good evening. This is the regular meeting for the Molalla City Council for August 12th, 2026. Please join me in the flag salute. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to remind all participants, including staff, elected officials, and members of the public, that Robert's Rules of Order will be enforced in this meeting. We welcome your opinions and look forward to your polite participation. Audience members, we request that you silence your cell phones and not conduct side conversations during the meeting. Thank you. Up next, we'll do roll call, beginning with Councilor Bartholomew.
Council Bartholomew present.
Council President Vermillion present.
Mayor Kaiser present.
Counselor Childress, present.
Counselor Schenkel present?
Counselor Gilmer present.
Engineering Section Manager Sam Miller present.
Associate Planner Clarissa Davis, present.
City Recorder Christy Teets present.
Dan Huff, City Manager, present.
All right, are there any changes to the agenda tonight? All right, up next we'll do consent agenda consisting of a work session meeting minutes, July 22nd, 2026, City Council meeting minutes, July 22nd, 2026, and resolution number 2026-23 awarding a contract for project number 26-02 North Ona Lane Extension. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion by council? Christie, can you do a roll call, please?
Certainly. Counselor Gilmer.
Aye.
Counselor Schenkel.
Aye.
Counselor Childress.
Aye.
Council President Vermillion.
Aye.
Counselor Bartholomew.
Aye.
Mayor Kaiser.
Aye.
Thank you. Vote passes 6-0.
All right, up next we have an application for appointment for Planning Commission. Christie, can I have your staff report, please?
Certainly. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. There has been, as you all know, there has been an open seat on Planning Commission for several months. Staff received the attached application from resident Shar Penny on August 1st. The candidate meets the required qualifications.
All right, is there a motion to appoint Shar Penny to the Planning Commission?
I move to appoint Shar Penny to the Planning Commission.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Is there an issue at all or a conflict with her husband being on that? That would be a council decision, Counselor Schenkel. There's
Okay.
nothing in our code or in our charter that
Yeah.
restricts
Okay.
as much.
That's your policy call there. We do have a husband and wife on our budget committee. Klyzex, I think, are their name.
I don't know if they're actually married. I know they reside in the same house, but I know they have different last names,
That's
just to be fair.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So-
I don't have a problem with it because what they're doing is, you know, they have to
Right.
follow the rules, so.
Yeah. Any other questions or discussion? All right, Christie, will you call the roll?
Certainly. Counselor Gilmer.
Aye.
Counselor Schenkel.
Aye.
Counselor Childress.
Aye.
Council President Vermillion.
Aye.
Counselor Bartholomew.
Aye.
Mayor Kaiser.
Aye.
Thank you. Vote passes 6-0.
All right, up next, we will do public comment. Citizens are allowed up to 3 minutes to present information relevant to the city, but not listed as an item on the agenda. Prior to speaking, citizens shall complete a comment form and deliver it to the city recorder. The city council does not generally engage in dialogue with those making comments, but may refer the issue to the city manager. Complaints should first be addressed at the department level prior to addressing the city council. And Mr. Jack Pierce, would you like to come to the mic and just state the city you reside in, please? Your name and city you reside in, please.
Jack Pierce, Lowell, Oregon.
Go ahead and have a seat, sir. It'll be easier on the with the microphone. Thank you.
What I got to say is just about the urban growth boundary. You know, we were in the zone 5, and then I just wanna get on the record, we got bumped out of the zone, and we would like to be in it if we're gonna be there. You know, I don't really know what to say or how to put that, but I wanna get it on record that, you know, I know there's more ground to be taken up, we'd like to be in it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. What we'll do is we'll give this information to the city manager and he'll hand it to city staff that will be in touch with you if it's something they can do.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, up next will be public hearings. Ordinance number 2026-07, amending Molalla Municipal Code, Chapter 3.09, disposal of surplus. This item requires a public hearing. I'm opening the public hearing for ordinance number 2026-07, amending Molalla Municipal Code, Chapter 3.09, disposal of surplus property at 606. The purpose of this hearing is to hear a staff report and listen to public testimony. Does any council member wish to acknowledge actual or potential conflicts of interest? All right, Mr. Hupp, we're ready for your staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. If you recall, at your last council meeting, we had some technical difficulties with our, with the ordinance, and it was reading in some other foreign language on there. So this is back for what we were gonna do at your last meeting. But this is our proposal for the getting rid of our surplus property. We, from time to time, as you know, we have vehicles that have outlived their useful life. We have furniture, we have different things like that, all in between different things that we get rid of. The current ordinance was crafted in 2008. So it's a little old for what we do today. And the current ordinance is a little cumbersome, and really the code has administrative procedures listed in the code where if you don't function that way today, if things have changed and you need to alter how you do things because of today's workforce, we can't do it because it's in the code. So really what this does is actually provide more of a council policy in the code where the administrative components of how we actually go through from point A to point B actually can change and alter as times change. So what the proposal will do is simplify the city's code, make surplus property procedures easier for staff to understand and apply, reduce staff time spent on low-value items, increase net returns by allowing the most efficient disposal method, improve consistency through standardized internal forms and procedures, better align the code with the council manager form of government, preserve council oversight for major sensitive property decisions, that won't change, allow procedures to adapt as technology and market conditions change, improve storage and asset management by allowing timely removal of unused property, and maintain transparency, documentation, and accountability. And some of these smaller items, we kind of almost spend more staff time on the process than you get in return for selling the property. And then it will make it much simpler for what we do. Do you have any questions on this? Okay, well then that concludes my staff report.
All right. Public comment for this item is now open. Is there anyone that would wish to speak in favor or opposition? All right. I will close this hearing at 6:09. Up next will be ordinance number 2026-09. This item requires a public hearing. I'm opening the public hearing for ordinance number 2026-09, amending Molalla Municipal Code, Chapter 6.08, farm animals at 6:10. The purpose of this hearing is to hear a staff report and listen to public testimony. Does any council member wish to acknowledge actual or potential conflicts of interest? All right. Mr. F., we're ready for your report.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the outgrowth of your discussion at your last work study session. I think most of the discussion at your work study on this ordinance revolved around roosters. And if you turn to page 48 to the actual code language that is there, you can see what we've done. You can't have farm animals running loose around town. There's a restriction on that. 100 feet from a residence. You can't have an accumulation of manure or other wastes. And then in 6.08.040, keeping of fowl limitations, item 2, the limit is 6, as you can see there. And then it says roosters are prohibited. And then we removed the part where we were gonna throw people in prison for violating this code. So that will not happen anymore.
Okay.
We'll tell the police department to back off. That basically kind of solidifies what you all talked about at your work study session, so.
Questions, comments? There is gonna be a learning process with this and time for people that do
Oh, yeah.
have.
Oh, yeah. I think, and that was a big part of our discussion too. You know, we're not gonna send somebody out there as the chicken police. But it's going to probably more or less work on our compliance nuisance process that we have today with other things where a neighbor will call in and complain about a neighbor that has, you know, a full-size swine digging through their fence or something like that. So it's gonna be based on complaints. And most people hopefully will just do that, and if we get enough complaints, we'll let them know, and they'll, so here's the ordinance, you comply. And most people comply.
Okay. Questions, comments? All right. Public comment for this item is now open. Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor or opposition? All right. I will close this public hearing at 6:13. Ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 2026-07, amending Molalla Municipal Code, Chapter 3.09, disposal of surplus property. Having held a public hearing for this ordinance, we are ready to consider a motion for adoption. Does staff have anything else they wish to add?
No.
All right. May I have a motion to hold the first reading of ordinance number 2026-07, amending Molalla Municipal Code, Chapter 3.09, disposal of surplus property by title only?
I move to hold the first reading of ordinance number 2026-07, an ordinance of the City of Molalla, Oregon, amending Molalla Municipal Code, Chapter 3.09, disposal of surplus property by title only.
I second.
Moved and second. Is there any discussion by council? All right, Christie, we call the vote?
Counselor Gilmer,
Aye.
Counselor Schenkel,
Aye.
Counselor Childress,
Aye.
Council President Vermillion,
Aye.
Counselor Bartholomew,
Aye.
Mayor Kaiser.
Aye.
Thank you. Vote passes 6-0.
All right. In the event of a unanimous vote, we will move on. Is there a motion to hold the second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2026-07, amending the Molalla Municipal Code, Chapter 3.09, disposal of surplus property by title only?
Go ahead.
I move to hold the second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2026-07, An ordinance of the City of Molalla, Oregon, amending Molalla Municipal Code, Chapter 3.09, disposal of surplus property by title only.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, Christie, will you call the roll?
Counselor Gilmer,
Aye.
Counselor Schenkel,
Aye.
Counselor Childress,
Aye.
Council President Vermillion,
Aye.
Counselor Bartholomew.
Aye.
Mayor Kaiser.
Aye.
Thank you. Vote passes 6-0.
Up next, ordinance number 2026-09. Having held the public hearing for this ordinance, we are ready to consider a motion for adoption. Does staff have anything else they wish to add?
No.
All right. May I have a motion to hold the first reading of ordinance number 2026-09, amending Molalla Municipal Code, Chapter 6.08, Farm Animals by title only?
I move the Molalla City Council to conduct the first reading of ordinance number 2026-09, an ordinance of the City of Molalla, Oregon, amending Molalla Municipal Code, Chapter 6.08, Farm Animals by title only.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, Christie, will you call the vote?
Counselor Gilmer,
Aye.
Counselor Schenkel,
Aye.
Counselor Childress,
Aye.
Council President Vermillion,
Aye.
Counselor Bartholomew,
Aye.
Mayor Kaiser.
Aye.
Thank you. Vote passes 6-0.
All right, is there a motion to hold the second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2026-09, amending Molalla Municipal Code, Chapter 6.08, Farm Animals by title only?
I move the Molalla City Council to conduct the second reading of the adoption of the ordinance number 2026-09, an ordinance of the City of Molalla, Oregon, amending Molalla Municipal Code, Chapter 6.08, Farm Animals by title only.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion by council? All right, Christie, will you call the vote?
Certainly. Counselor Gilmer,
Aye.
Counselor Schenkel,
Aye.
Counselor Childress,
Aye.
Council President Vermillion,
Aye.
Counselor Bartholomew,
Aye.
Mayor Kaiser.
Aye.
Thank you. Vote passes 6-0.
All right, up next will be resolution number 2026-22, initiating street vacation proceedings for a portion of Lynn Lane and a portion of Hezzy Lane. Ms. Davis, we're ready for your staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm working on getting it up on the screen. Just a moment, please. Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. Tonight I'll be presenting a city request to initiate street vacation proceedings for a portion of Lynn Lane and a portion of Hezzy Lane. It is the part that is outlined in red right there, abutting those three less developed parcels. This may feel familiar to you because in the spring, City Council vacated a portion of Hezzy Lane in conjunction with the City of Molalla Middle School, or in conjunction with the middle school project. As you can see, this is a different portion of Hezzy Lane, as well as a portion of Lynn Lane. In this area, both of these right-of-ways have 60 feet of width, and they were dedicated in 1913. In the intervening 100-plus years, the City of Molalla has adopted the Molalla Transportation Systems Plan, and this plan identifies the needed right-of-way for this area as 50 feet. So that leaves 10 extra feet of right-of-way. Now, the property owner of those three properties there is developing those properties at this point in time, and with that, they will be conducting three-quarter street improvements on those streets. So the right-of-way hasn't been developed yet. Because those properties are getting developed, they will now be developing that right-of-way to meet city standards. Because they are just now developing this property, the city has a unique opportunity to correct an over-exaction. And there are three main benefits of doing this. Number one is that it will reduce city maintenance costs on unnecessary public land. Number two is that it will reduce public confusion and subsequent staff time when we need to explain what is public land and what is private property. This actually comes up semi-frequently in our office. And number 3, it will right-size the city's transportation infrastructure for our actual needs. On August 5th, Planning Commission recommended that City Council pursue this initiation process. At this point in time, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Council? So the vacation is basically just a few feet. It's not putting it's not like the one on Hezzy Lane.
Oh, no,
So
correct,
it's just bringing it back down to 50 feet from the 60.
correct.
Easy, easy. Okay.
Well, a little correction on that. It actually will be most likely 55 feet, because it's only going to be 5 feet of dedication on that side, so the other side still exists. So
Right.
it'll be the 5 feet on each side.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Mayor,
Yes,
pardon me. We do have some audience members that were curious about this topic this evening, and now before you have council discussion would be time to invite public comment. So I would like to pause for just a moment and have you welcome folks if they would like to speak.
Anybody want to speak on this?
I just have a question. I don't have any objections. I want to understand.
Can you come up to the microphone and just state your name and city you reside in? That way Christy has it for the record.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, a year and a half, 2 years ago.
I need
looked
your
at
name
your-
and city you
Oh,
reside in.
sorry. Todd Carver, Molalla, Oregon.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So a couple years ago, I looked at buying that property, and when I came in, came in to find out plan for that property or whatever, and I guess I'm trying to understand the red line a little bit. Is that a complete vacation of the entire road, or did I hear just 5 feet of the sidewalk?
It would be 5 feet of the right-of-way that is currently there, and then the developer that's there is going to be conducting 3/4 street improvements to build out that road.
On the red road, because I was told it couldn't go out to Tolliver when I came in. So they are going to be utilizing the red road still?
Yes, so
Okay.
Hezzy Lane will
I
be.
was just curious.
No, of course, Hezzy Lane is going to be punched through from Lynn Lane to Tolliver.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Of
I was
course.
just curious.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. We will move on. Is there a motion to approve resolution number 2026-22, initiating street vacation proceedings for a portion of Lynn Lane and a portion of Hezzy Lane by title only?
I move the Molalla City Council to adopt resolution number 2026-22, a resolution of the City of Molalla, Oregon, initiating street vacation proceedings for a portion of Lynn Lane and a portion of Hezzy Lane
By title only.
by title only.
Second?
Moved in second. Is there any other discussion? All right, Christy, will you call the vote?
Certainly. Counselor Gilmer.
Aye.
Counselor Schenkel.
Aye.
Counselor Childress.
Aye.
Council President Vermillion.
Aye.
Counselor Bartholomew.
Aye.
Mayor Kaiser.
Aye.
Thank you. Vote passes 6-0.
Clarissa, I have one question that's not specifically to this. The language that's in, I believe, the ordinance, do we need to bring that back from the 1913 and do some changing on it so this doesn't happen anymore? Or
Could you
where it says
explain
it's
your-
60 feet and we're saying now it's like 50 feet, so we don't have to do this again, or is that?
Mayor, I-
I could.
Oh, go ahead.
That's a road standard, so when people dedicate right-of-way today, they dedicate right-of-way based on the standards that are in the TSP.
Okay,
So it's
so it's
not
already
in,
been
it's not in the
adjusted. This
code.
was- Okay,
It's not in the code.
okay, got ya.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, up next, resolution number 2026-24, adopting a fee for mule permits. Ms. Davis, we're ready for your staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. So as you all know, a couple weeks ago you adopted a mural code, and this is the final step in standing up the city's mural program, is adopting that fee for that application. Staff has conducted an analysis of 6 nearby jurisdictions, and mural permit fees range from $100 in some jurisdictions to $624 in one jurisdiction, with a median fee price or cost of $125. At Council's direction, the city strives to be fee neutral so that the public doesn't pay for any private development. And with this guidance, we believe that a fee of $125 would allow staff to efficiently and effectively review mural applications. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
All right, any questions or comments? All right. Is there a motion to approve resolution number 2026-24, adopting a fee for for mural permits by title only?
I move the City of Molalla adopt resolution number 2026-24, establishing a mural permit fee.
I second.
Moved and second. Is there any questions or discussion? All right, Christie, we call the vote.
Certainly. Counselor Gilmer,
Aye.
Counselor Schenkel,
Aye.
Counselor Childress,
Aye.
Council President Vermillion,
Aye.
Counselor Bartholomew,
Aye.
Mayor Kaiser.
Aye.
Thank you. Vote passes 6-0.
All right, up next, general business, elections announcements. Christie, we're ready for your staff report.
All right, thank you again, Mayor and Council. So as you know, November elections 2026 is in full swing. As a reminder to the folks at home, seats expiring in December are Councilor Childress, Councilor Schenkel, and Councilor Bicenius. Candidates to date are as follows. Sheila Howe has successfully completed all her requirements, background check consented, and no record found. Monica Berkman has successfully completed all requirements, background check consented, no records found. Casey Bicenius has been approved to petition. Candidates and interested parties have until this Friday, August 14th, to submit paperwork to my office. The deadline for all paperwork submitted and approved with Clackamas County is Tuesday, August 25th. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
And up next, League of Oregon Cities 101st Annual Conference. Mr. Huff, we're ready for your report.
So thank you, Mayor, if you look at page 64, those are the price sheets for the LOC conference that's coming up. When is that? That is in October. And historically we'd had a conversation with you all a year or two ago about the spring conference for LOC and the fall conference for LOC, and it's if you're a city councilor that chooses to go to the spring conference and maybe you don't go to the fall conference. Y'all remember that, at least the folks that have been around for a while. So at this point we need to get you registered because we pay less if we get you registered now than waiting till the end. Mayor Kaiser will go. He kind of has a commitment now with being on the mayor's board.
I'm gonna do like a modified go.
Okay.
I'm not going for the whole
And
conference.
and I don't know if those of you, and I don't know if you two.
I'd like to say that I'm gonna save the city some money and not go to the conference since I'll be gone in December.
I'll say ditto on that, yeah.
So anyway, because I know that Casey and the other three of you went to the spring conference in Pendleton. This one's in Salem, so it's not too far away, but we will be represented there. We are making a presentation on UGB. We're part of that UGB presentation with our staff, and our consultant are part of that presentation that we're doing. So we will have a presence. I think it's important for Molalla to have a presence at those conferences. And we have been doing that consistently, and it's paid off, I think. So if you don't go, there still will be representation there. Mac and I will be there in different parts, so.
Another question.
And she
Be
may
there
even
as
go
well.
this year.
There-
Can you believe that?
Yeah,
Oh,
great.
really?
The agenda this year is very much conducive to city recorders. It's very interesting to me, but there's a lot going on for city recorders, so we'll
Cool.
see.
I am going to go for the board meeting for OMA, and I was asked to make sure I attended the awards dinner.
Okay.
So that's,
We'll get together and plug you in, and because this is close, I would say if you had an opportunity to look at the agenda, if there was a session that really struck your interest, to definitely get a hold of me like this week, so like at least by Friday, because again, we get a better rate if
Mhm.
we get you dialed in before, I wanna say it's the 25th.
it is,
Well,
September
11th.
okay, before
11th. It's
September
pretty quick.
11th.
It's coming up.
So if you have any interest, I would say to Councilor Bartholomew and Council President Vermillion, Councilor Gilmer, if there's interest in a session or two, let us know. It's pretty close.
Excellent. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Mayor, I do have
Sure.
one more thing
Go ahead.
related to this. I don't know if you all received the League of Oregon Cities, the weekly 3-minute snippet from Patty Mulvihill. Is that something that you get in your inbox? I would like to send it to you. She requested that city recorders present last week's 3-minute snippet to city council. And I did not do that. I can follow it up with an email tomorrow. But it was all about the League of Oregon Cities conference this year and a few things that would be presented at the legislative session that were coming up. So those might be things of interest to you too. So
Okay.
Patty had some great information to share.
I got the earful at the conference this weekend, so I got it up close and personal.
Oh, was Patty in Ashland? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, up next, staff communications. Clarissa, you got anything?
None, thank you.
Sam?
I just want to double check to make sure that we didn't miss anything on the agenda. I don't know if we need to talk about the project, award contract, the project, or is that going to be after the staff communication portion?
For the what?
Oh,
It was
that
on the
Project
consent.
we
It was on the
awarded in
consent.
It was
Okay,
in
yeah.
consent.
Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did it on the consent.
Okay.
It was all approved on the consent. Did council have any questions on that? Okay,
Oh, perfect, yeah. No, I don't have any.
Perfect,
staff
thank you.
communication.
Christy, do you have anything else tonight?
I will spare you. I have plenty. I'm flying solo right now.
I know. We can pull the couch out. We're running early, so.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I think I've shared everything with council that I had
Perfect.
to this
Thank you
evening.
for your work.
Thank you.
Ms. Truff,
I actually don't have anything fun to bring up tonight.
where's Mac?
He's on vacation.
There's a lot going on, but I think he covered most of it. I am going to the chamber meeting tomorrow, so I can let you know that.
I know there was an event that happened here, I think since our last meeting. I was wondering if you made it to it, the Reptile Man?
Yeah, I was obviously doing something else at the time
Okay, just
that
check.
kept me from being there,
Okay,
so.
just thought I'd
Yeah.
ask. All right, council communications. Councilor Bartholomew, do you have anything for us tonight?
I have nothing to report, Mayor Kaiser.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Gilmer?
I have nothing to report today.
All right, Councilor Schenkel?
Yeah, I'm gonna let Ms. Leota do our stuff.
All right, it's all yours.
Thank you. Thanks.
I know, very nice.
Well, what she's letting me do is announce Celebrate Molalla. This year, Celebrate Mollalla's registration has grown by 20%. we were, and we had to cut things off because we're getting at a place where we, all the data's in and being mixed and mashed, and we just couldn't put anything else in there, so we've had to turn down a couple even. So it's gonna be a really big, good event, and I encourage you to come out. We're gonna have a doggy corner this year. We have someone grooming, not grooming, but doing nails, and another one taking photographs, and another woman selling dog toys. So you can bring your favorite little furry baby to celebrate Molalla and take advantage of that. We think it's gonna be kind of cool.
Make sure it's all in the trees.
Oh, yes, thank you. And this year, all of the spaces are in the trees, under the shade. We've gone clear into the second pathway, which would be the east pathway in the park. And it's the weather forecast is 79 degrees that day, so it's gonna be a beautiful day for it. And I encourage you to come out. Like I said, bring your furry friends. It'll be a new thing. We have some great entertainment. Addie Rose, singer-songwriter, is entertaining. The Northwest Playboys are back, and Brady Goss and his band. And if you look those up, you can go to our Facebook page and see more about them. Very, very well-known entertainers. And I have another thing I'd like to say, as much as I hate to address this. It has been said publicly that we counselors just show up and vote yes anyway. So why bother? And that is not true. There's a lot of work that goes into us coming in and making a final decision on something the way we did tonight. There are work sessions, there are staff reports, there's studies, and I had to get it out there publicly because that comment was made publicly, that we take our job seriously. We are here for this city and the people of this city, and we don't do it lightly. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do want, so I
Go
need to
ahead.
tag on to her thing. This year at Bolander Field, the
Yes.
Molalla alumni, but it's for the scholarship fund for the sports. So it's for somebody who's doing sports can get a scholarship. They are going to be doing a car show that day as well. They'll be in Bolander Field, and then you can walk across and so drop your husband off in the cars, come across, enjoy yourself shopping, you know, grab some food, go back, pick them up from the cars, and go home. But that's only until 2, maybe 1 or 2.
Maybe 1 or 2.
They don't. The car guys don't stay as long. They come early, but they leave. They leave pretty quick. So, or if you're dying to show off your car, I'm sure you can register to do that. So.
Right. Thank you.
Excellent. Council President Vermillion.
Yes, last Thursday I attended the C4 meeting, and one area that I found very interesting, and I've kind of brought it up a few times, it's about e-bikes and our kids that are riding the e-bikes. Come to find out there are laws behind how old you can be to ride these bikes. Class 1, this is pedal assist only, no throttle, tops out at 20. Come this January, you have to be 14. Class 2 has a throttle up to 20 miles an hour. Class 3, pedal assist up to 28, you have to be 16. But according to Chief Rollins of West Lynn Police Department, the enforcement part of that ordinance isn't very well written. So all of these other cities that are starting to pick up on their need for some form of enforcement are taking the educational route first and letting them know, hey, you've got to be wearing a helmet, you got to be this age, and as it turns out, if you are under 16 and you get a ticket, it goes to your mom and dad. So, anyway, I just thought that was very interesting, and I'm sure there's going to be more of this coming, because there are a lot of stats about the injuries these kids are going through, a lot of bad accidents, and it's time that we do something to make sure our kids are safe. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you, sir. Last Wednesday, I left for the Oregon Mayors Association Conference. It was down in Ashland. A lot of good educational stuff. The LOC's new head lobbyist was there, letting us know about all this new stuff that's going to be happening, and they brought up their biggest accomplishment, which Christy probably appreciates so much. They got the hot dog rule banned. It's the proverbial, the food in council meetings they nicknamed it the hot dog rule. And that got basically shut down, but there still is a lot of confusion on rules that even state ethics doesn't understand the rules that they've written. Nobody in the state can understand why the governor vetoed the bill that was supposed to put kind of a kibosh on some of this stuff. And so, yeah, it was very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing Nicole work with as our lobbyist for LOC this year. A lot came up about ODOT, and the basic message with ODOT is, you know, money might be needed, but people want to see changes in the system before any money is distributed or asked for, which nobody is seeing currently. Our neighbor to the north, Mayor McGriff, won the Mayor's Leadership Award for the year, so that for a medium-sized city, so it was nice to see that award staying in Clackamas County.
2 in a row.
2 years now. And then I had the honor of giving the Award of Merit out, which is actually, I didn't realize this, it is the highest award a mayor can receive in the state of Oregon. Mayor Rich Mays from the Dalles, which he's been a little bit of a mentor to me. He actually spent his career as a city manager, retired as the city manager, I believe, of Cannon Beach, moved and relocated with his wife to the Dalles and became the mayor of the Dalles and been the mayor for quite a while. Done a lot of great things there. It was quite wonderful because I went through a whole 2-minute speech and he had no clue until the very last sentence that he had won. And to be able to do that to an ex-city manager was incredible. They usually know everything. So, very good conference, went very quickly. Otherwise, you know, it's hot, stay hydrated. The kids are almost back in school, keep an eye out for them. Prayers, you know, we have our future fire chief with us. Prayers to your crew and the ones that are out fighting the wildfires and all the crews that are out there. We really appreciate you guys and all you're doing for our community right now and all your affiliates that you work with. Thank you very much, Chief. With that, if there isn't anything else for the good of the order, I will adjourn this meeting at 6:43.
Wow.